drove me towards wanting to take, these coaching classes. I know you started teaching the teams course as well, but I'd already taken it with Ford in the past, unfortunately. And so I think just, kind of those types of classes, coaching and for coaching with teams would have been a good class to take as well for me. Because I work in that kind of environment where I'm constantly working on a team, constantly working with people. I always have someone that's a lower rank for me that reports to me. And, I know in the past I've done both where I've, kind of, asked, tried to get the people to think about, but I feel like in the past I've been more, here's my advice as opposed to coaching them.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like from the class, I definitely will, lean more towards the coaching aspect first, and trying to get them to figure out the solution for themselves as opposed to just telling them how to go about it. And I think I have a big drive to help develop people, future leaders to, they always say you want to train the next person to replace you in your job, etc. And so ever since, when I was enlisted, I had a company commander that had recommended me to go through the officer program, become an officer. So that kind of impacted me. Obviously, I've been able to do everything done because of that recommendation from him. So that one little, him got, kind of coaching and guiding me into doing that. Kind of for me, I want to kind of pay it forward and kind of also help develop future people as well.
What would you feel when he recommended you?
Oh, it was, you feel really good. That someone, thinks highly enough of you that you have the potential to,
What did he say to you when that went down?
I don't remember exactly what it was. He just, we were actually in Iraq when he suggested that I apply and that he would write me a letter of recommendation for it, for the program. Yeah, we were in Iraq probably a couple months by then. So I'd been working for him, for about 9 months at that point in time.
Mm-hmm.
So, and, I had a lot of respect for him. I had worked for 2 other people at that point in time. He was my third boss in that aspect, in that role, and and he was definitely the most influential as far as just the way he led, as opposed to just being. He's kind of more along the lines of how I lead. He's less authoritative and more, kind of. There was times where he had to tell people what to do, but he didn't just tell people what to do. He kind of let you figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't constantly over your shoulder trying to tell you how to do your job, type of a leader. So that was good. But yeah, he called me into, it wasn't really an office. It was more like a little cubicle in the company headquarters in Iraq. And he talked to me about, what my plans were in the military and what I was thinking about doing. And then he recommended that, you suggested that I would be a good officer if I so wanted to, and recommended that the program that I ended up going through, that I should apply for it, and that he'd write me a letter of recommendation. So, and here I am today, so, because my original plan in the Army was to do 4 years, do my 4 years of service, get out, use the GI Bill, go to college, using that aspect. And, obviously I've gone to college twice now, but I never got out. So,
okay.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about your kind of lived experience in the coaching classes you were in. What experiences do you remember?
I remember hating the coaching of the one-on-one in class, or the small little, I don't know. I understand the benefit to doing it, and once I started doing it, it was fine. I just never wanted to do the coaching like in the class with someone that I'm sitting right next to and just across the room from, and but I mean, I kind of, from when we got to the advanced class, I started doing some coaching, um, outside of the classroom, and that was much easier for me with people that I didn't really know, um, that I don't see day to day, and hearing stuff that I don't necessarily, some of the stuff I heard in the class I already knew because I've talked to these people in the past, so they're talking about things that they've already been talking about, um, things like that. So, but having these people out of class and, in different areas, of the world, in fact. So one was in Canada, one was in England, and one was in the United States. So, being able to just kind of coach those three people outside was very, was beneficial. I mean, that was my biggest thing is I never would have done anything like that if I hadn't taken the class. And I think it was beneficial to kind of do that exercise outside of,
So
find
your
someone
first
outside
reaction
of the classroom to coach.
sorry, the first reaction you had around class that you recollected was the challenge around coaching one-on-one.
Yeah,
Is
yeah.
that right?
It's
What
coaching
other?
a one-on-one and then coaching a one-on-one with peers, so
Yeah.
right there with you, learning the same stuff you are. So not only do you know them, but they learn the exact same thing you do. So are they going to be judgmental if I miss something that
See.
that we just learned and I didn't do it the right way, things like that. Like I said, once we actually started doing it, I just kind of clicked in and started doing it. But just the thought of doing it, I was like, but yeah.
Put you on the spot. What was your
Yeah,
experience coaching others? Expand on that a
it
little.
was good. Yeah. So, I'm still, I've had to put them on pause with the moving, from Ohio to Texas. Just, it wasn't going to work living out of a hotel for, 6 days and trying to, coach. And so I let them know. I mean, I'm not charging them anything. So they just have to be patient with me. And
Mm-hmm.
once I get settled in here, which I'm about, so then I'll probably pick up next week again with coaching a couple of them. So between the three of them, it's been, each one's obviously very unique. One is very frustrating because all of them are around I know we kind of already discussed this a little bit. All of them around the, like the ketogenic diet and fitness.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's less business focused and more that just because I've had a little more experience with that and I wanted to do something I was comfortable with for these free coaching things. So, but the one that's really frustrating is because he'll sit there across from me, kind of like we're doing right now, and tell me what he wants to do and tell me how he's going to accomplish it and tell me all these things that he's going to stop doing. And then next time we talk, I mean, to his credit, he's 100% honest with me, but he's going to tell me that he screwed up and he didn't do this and he didn't do that. And when we try to dig into why, um, he I mean, he admits that it's just, whether it's laziness or just, you know, weakness of the moment type stuff. And it's kind of, he knows he shouldn't be doing that to meet his goals, but he's still doing it. And so trying to figure out, so that's been very frustrating because every single week it's the same thing. I mean, he's getting better where it's not as often, but there's always at least something within a week period of time, which doesn't help. It's not helping him. But the other two have gone well. As far as helping them, they have different goals. One of them is more focused on, physical performance and less on the diet stuff. And the other one's focused more on the diet and less, but he's trying to figure out what he's doing wrong. But so it's been beneficial in that aspect where I've kind of had different perspectives and try to have people work through different problems. Yeah. So
What about
it's been